Today, we're going to be working with some more story problems, and in this time, instead of having a picture, we're going to be working with words. But we are still at the Ant's toy store, but there's a little bit of a different situation going on. So let's read it and see what we learn from our story problem. At the Ant's toy store, there was a coloring contest for second and third graders. There were 135 entries. Entries are the thing that you enter into a contest, so that means 135 people entered coloring pages into the contest. 51 of them were third graders. How many were from second grade? Oops, I wrote from second graders. Doesn't quite make sense, but I think you still get the point. Oh no, that is correct. This is my Monday brain. They were from third graders because they entered the contest. Sorry, we're gonna keep going. All right, so I've got my yellow pen here, and this is not the best because I scratched that out. But I'm gonna go through and circle the things that I think are important in my story problem here, and I want you to write these things down in your journal. I don't have my journal because I'm gonna do it on this paper, but I'd like you to do it in your journal, please. So we know that it's for second and third graders. We know that there were 135 entries, and 51 of them were from third graders. And what is our question? What are we trying to solve or figure out? What's like the mystery in this problem? If you said how many were from second graders, you are absolutely correct. That is what we are trying to solve. So this becomes like our mystery number we're trying to figure out. Now, 135 is a large number, 51 is smaller, and I know entries in a contest, I could call that my total. That's my total number, and then 51 is going to be one of the numbers involved. So I kind of like to draw it out like this. This really helps my brain think about it. I picture this big long bar, and this is 135 entries. This is my total, right? This is the total. I know that 51 of them, 51 were third graders. That's something I know. However, this is my mystery number. How many more of them out of that 135 were from second graders? That's the part I don't know, and that's what I have to figure out today. So there are a couple of different ways we can solve this. We know we have different strategies in second grade, and we're going to go through a couple of them. Write them down and practice with me. Later, you're going to get to do this in your Bridges book, and you are going to get to choose your own strategy of how you want to show how you solve this kind of problem. So first of all, we could use that open number line. That's a really popular one. We've used it so much, but we could use our open number line. So I'm going to draw a number line really big. I know sometimes I draw them too small. On one side, I'm going to put 51 because even though it's not the first number in my problem, it is my lowest number. And I'm trying to figure out how many more people between 51 and 135 there were entered the contest. It's kind of like this number line here, right? 51 people are there. There's 135 total. I need to figure out this part. So I need to go from 51 to 135. So in this way, we're actually using addition to solve this. So I'm going to count by tens. When I jump 10, I land at 61, 71, 81, 91, 101, 111, 121. Oh, I always run out of space. 131. And I'm going to go back and say plus 10 so that I don't forget how much I'm adding each time I take a jump. So I'm marking the number I land on and how much I'm jumping by. Now I'm at 131. I'm super close to 134. Some of you can probably already figure out in your heads how many more jumps I have to take. 1, 2, 3, 4. I take plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, which makes plus 4. Then I just have to go through and add up how many jumps I took to get from 51 all the way up to 134, and that will tell me how many second graders entered the contest, how many other people were in the contest. So I'm just going to count these numbers, and I like to cross them off as I go so I don't lose track. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then I can count by ones, or I can just add on my 4. So I ended up with 84 jumps, and that means there were 84 second graders who entered the contest. So that is one way we can solve this problem. Another way that we can solve this problem is by making it a subtraction problem. So what I can do is take my largest number, which is 135 entries, and subtract the part that I do know, which is 51 entries. And then I will still be trying to figure out what that mystery number is, but that will be my answer to this problem. earlier we were kind of thinking about it like this in my open number line. 51 plus a number equals 135. And now we've just shuffled things around, and we know we can do that with addition and subtraction. So in this case, if I'm doing subtraction, I could draw it out using those base 10 blocks. In this case, I would need my red, my green, and my yellow. What I would do is I'm going to start out with my largest number, which is 135. I'm going to draw this number out, and then I'm going to go through and take out 51 of those in the drawing. Last week I showed this to you guys and it got a little bit confusing, and that was my mistake. So I want to show you just to clarify. So in 135, I first look at the hundreds. There's only 100. So I just draw a 100 grid, and I'm just going to put the number in it to help me remember how many hundreds I have. Next, I look at the tens, and I see I have 3 tens. So I'm going to draw 3 columns, and I'm going to write a 30 underneath it just to remember that's actually 30 and not 3. And then last, I have a 5, and that means 5 ones. So I'm just going to draw 5 little yellow squares. Now this number is 135. But because I'm subtracting 51, I'm going to go through and take out 51 in my drawing. Okay, so remember, I decided not to draw out my 51 because I'm going to be taking 51 away. That's what the subtraction means. I'm going to be taking 51 away from my 135. So this might seem weird, but I'm actually going to start with my ones number first, which is 1. So I need to take away 1 from my ones. So all I do is take 1 away, and I just cross it off because I took away the 1 in 51 from my 135. Then I'm done with this, so I'm going to cross it off there. Next, I move over to the 5s, which I know actually means 50. So I need to take away 50 from my 135 from my drawing here. I see here I can take away 10, 20, 30, but I don't have enough 10s to take away 50. I need 3 more 10s to take it away. Well, if you remember, this 100 right here is actually 10 ones. So I'm going to quickly redraw it to show 10s because I'm going to need to borrow some of these 10s from my 100 because I didn't have enough 10s in the 30 to take away 50 because my number that I'm taking away is 51. So I took away 10, 20, 30, and then I redrew my 100 into 10 ones. So this is still 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. It's still 100, but now it's written in 10, so I can actually take some more 10s away. So far I've taken away the 1 in the 51, and I've also taken away 10, 20, 30 in my 50, but I need 2 more 10s to get to 50. So I 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now I've taken away 50. This is my 51. I've taken away 51 out of 135. I've taken it away. So now what I have to do, remember, this is no longer valid because I redrew it. What I need to do is go through and actually count up what I have left over, and that will be the answer to the subtraction problem. So here, I'm going to color in all the ones blue that I have left over. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and this one looks crossed out, but it's actually 80, 90, nope, I messed up. That's not 90, that's 81, because now I'm counting in ones. I counted my 10s, 81, 82, 83, 84. So I have 8 10s, which makes 80, and 4 ones left over at the end of this problem, and I add those 2 up, and I have 84, which is exactly the number I got earlier, and that tells me 84 second graders entered this contest. So today you're going to have a chance to do this all by yourself in your Bridges book on page 97. It says more toy store problems. You're only going to do number 3. There's number 4, and this other side has 1 and 2, but you're only doing number 3. And it's a very similar problem. What I would like you to do is to draw out or show how do you solve this problem? What strategy do you use? Maybe you even have a different strategy, but show your strategy. Don't just put the answer, please. Then fill in the answer in the bottom, write down which strategy you used. You're going to share a picture of this on Seesaw, and you're also going to record yourself talking about your strategy. You guys have gotten so good at that, and I love hearing it when you explain how you solve these math problems. So Bridges, solve this problem, take a picture on Seesaw, and then record yourself reading or explaining your strategy on Seesaw.